Hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, or this afternoon. It is here. It's about 4:30, Tuesday, June the 29th. And I just wanted to pop on quick. I haven't been on for a live video in quite some time, but I wanted to show you a beautiful birthday card that I've made. I've got quite a few birthdays in July in my family, so I needed a quick but really pretty birthday card for a couple of my sisters, and so I just thought I'd show you how to create it. I also wanted to quickly remind you that tomorrow is the last day to order from the January to June mini catalog. Many items already have sold out, especially some of the designer series paper packs, but there's still lots of good deals to be had, and lots of items still available. So don't forget to place your order ASAP from this catalog so you don't miss out. My current house code, if you go online to place an order, it's VGQSX7NV. If your order is under $200, I'd appreciate if you would enter the host code, and that helps me give free items to my customers for everyone who places an order. So the card I'm going to create is using the Artistically Inked stamp set and dies. It can be found in the new annual catalog on page 97, the stamp set, and then the dies that coordinate. This is a whole suite of products in that there are multiple items that all coordinate together. And then we're also going to be using an embossing folder, which can be found on page 155. It's called Pretty Flowers embossing folder. And this is the card that we're going to make. Now, I will say this is not my design. My upline, Allison, actually created a card very similar to this, and I loved it so much I wanted to share it with you. So as you can see, there is a gold foil overlay with some stamping underneath. So I'll show you how to make this. We're first going to need a pale papaya card base. This is one of the new 2021 to 2023 in colors. It's very beautiful. It's kind of a peachy color. If you remember our former color, Peekaboo Peach, is similar to that, but definitely different. So we're just going to take a full piece of cardstock that's 8.5 by 11 and cut it at 5.5. So you can get two card bases out of one piece of paper. We're also going to score this at 4 1/4 to make it easier to fold. And I'm just using my Stampin' Trimmer to do that. And we'll just give that a good burnish so it'll lie nicely. I've also got another piece of pale papaya cardstock, and this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to run this through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the embossing folder. So we'll just place that in there. And I just wanted to point out, I'm not sure how many of you were aware that this line on the embossing folders is meant to be there to help you line up your paper straight. So a lot of the embossing folders, it doesn't really matter if it's straight or not, but for some patterns it does matter. So we're just going to put that through our machine. Now to do this, as it says right on platform 1, for embossing folders we need the standard embossing folders. We need plate 1, then plate 3, which is our clear plate, then our embossing folder, hinge first, and then another plate 3 on top of it. And we'll just run this through. Sorry, my table's kind of wiggly. And that gives us this beautiful dry embossed image There are so many embossing folders, and it's just, I love them. It's a quick and easy way to create a really fun background on your project. Next, we're going to cut the die cut this big, beautiful flower here. This is the artistic dies that comes in the bundle. There's this gorgeous large leaf image, and then there's some dies that cut out some of the stamped images as well. And we're going to cut from a piece of gold foil this image. So when you're using our die cuts and the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you have plate 1 on the bottom, then you've got plate 2, and it says right here, place die cutting edge down. And it shows you here that you want plate 1 and then plate 2, which is this one, and then a plate 3, your die, and then plate 3 on top. So that's the sandwich I'm making right here. And because this is quite an intricate die, I'll run this through a couple of times, just so that it cuts well. And there you go. I'll just set this out of the way. And then I'm going to take my little die brush, which is an attachment you can purchase to go with your Take Your Pick tool. And that will just help me get the pieces out of my die here. There is a kind of a foam mat that you can use with these too, but they do come out pretty easy. You can just use your fingers even, or the pokey end of your Take Your Pick tool to help get the rest of those out. And it's okay to leave a few of the little bits of paper in there too, just to give a little interest. I'm going to try to poke these out. If you don't own a Take Your Pick tool, I would highly suggest you get one. It's fantastic for using for lots of different things. You can, like I'm doing right now, poking out those little bits of paper from your dies. You can use it to help apply rhinestones and other gems to your projects. And you can get this extra attachment for getting the paper out of your dies. Come on. Of course, these came out way easier when I was doing them earlier today. Murphy's Law. There we go. I think we got them all. I'll just clean that up quickly. So I hope everyone is surviving this heat wave that we're in. It's currently about 36 degrees, I think, just outside of Calgary. I'm in Chestermere, which is just 5 minutes east of the big city. And it is really hot. Thankfully, we have central air in our house. We put it in the second year we were here, and because I work from home full time, so it's definitely can get very toasty. So I'm very thankful we have that. I feel so terrible for people who don't. It's just awful. Hard to sleep and everything when it's so warm. Okay, so we can attach this embossed piece to our card base. I'm just going to use our multi-purpose liquid glue. Because it's quite a textured background, you can use a little extra. I'm just going to place it at a bit of an angle. And then we can do some stamping. So I've got a piece of 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 basic white. And the way we are going to stamp this is we're just going to lay our gold die cut on top of the paper to just guide us in where to do our stamping. So the color combination I'm using is basic gray, just jade, pale papaya, and polished pink. And the way we do this is, I think I'll first stamp this flower down here using pale papaya. So I've got my stamp and my ink, and I'll just kind of eyeball where that flower is, and then I'll just stamp the flower after lifting it up. And then there are a couple of little flowers down here, and I'm just going to do the same thing with the pale papaya. They definitely don't need to line up perfectly, as you can see mine do not. I'm just going to stamp another one. You won't be able to see the line once we lay that gold foil over it. Next, I will stamp the large flower here, which I'm going to do in polished pink, just by using the same method, inking up our stamp, just eyeballing where I want to stamp it, move my gold piece out of the way, and then stamp the flower down. You can see the stamp set is kind of, what's the word? Abstract, I guess. The images aren't perfect, and that just adds to the eclecticness, if that's a word, of the stamp set. Next, we'll do the leaves in just jade. So there, in the stamp set, there's a stamp with 2 leaves. That will go about right there. And then down here, there's a single leaf, and there's a single leaf in the stamp set. I'll just stamp that there. And that's all the stamping we need to do with that piece. I'm just going to quickly stamp my sentiment on this 1/2 inch piece of basic white cardstock. I'm just using the Happy Birthday stamp that comes in the stamp set. There's this nice big thanks here. This kind of, again, an abstract image, and then you've got some more sentiments in a variety of fonts. So Happy Birthday is just going to go on this piece in basic gray. I'll close that up, get some of my stamps out of the way so we don't have a disaster. Next up, we can start to assemble this. I am going to use some of my multi-purpose glue to attach this die cut. I'm just going to use, put a little bit of glue on a silicone mat here, which is something else we sell in the catalog. I think they're only $4 or $5. And then I'm taking, we used to carry these sponges that would come in a round circle, and I've just cut it up into, I think, 6 or 8 pieces, and just attached a binder clip. And I'm just going to get some glue on the sponge, and then I'm just going to dab my die cut with the glue. You definitely don't need glue on every single aspect of your die cuts when you're putting them down. You can also use our adhesive sheets, but I find this method quick and easy. And I'm just going to lie the die cut down over top of our beautiful flowers and leaves that we stamped. Now I'll bring in our card base again. So this has our embossed layer on top, and I'm just going to attach this again kind of at an angle using some of our dimensionals. So we'll just put that at an angle over here, kind of try to pay attention to the gold piece so it doesn't overhang too much. And then we can attach our sentiment here. Oh, and we need to stamp another set of leaves as well. So I've got a piece of scrap paper here, and I'm just going to stamp some leaves. And I'll use my die cutting machine again quickly. I'll just do it off to the side here instead of carrying it or lifting it into the image or into my video. Whoops, that shifted on me. Stampin' Up! Did have a magnetic plate that they made when they made our new Stampin' Cut emboss machine, but there were some issues with it kind of bending a bit, so they pulled it from our inventory and they're trying to work out the kinks, trying to make a better product for us, and there's no word yet on when it's coming back, so hopefully it will be soon. So I've just die cut a set of the leaves. I'm going to put the happy birthday sentiment down here. I'm just going to put a dimensional on one end of it, and then the other end is going to lie on the basic white that already is popped up, so I don't want another dimensional on here or it'll be lopsided. So I'll just put a bit of adhesive on this end, take the backing off my dimensional, and I'll put that about right there. Try to get it straight. And then I'll just tuck these leaves kind of in behind here. Again, be mindful that it doesn't overhang your card base too much or it won't fit in an envelope. Now let's decorate the inside a little bit. I've just got another piece of basic white that's 5 1/4 by 4, and I'll just stamp a couple of those pale papaya, or the pale papaya flower, and a couple of the leaves in just jade. Just stamp that off to make it a little bit lighter. And then we can put that on the inside. Just use a very thin layer of liquid glue. You don't need much. And if you put too much, your lines of glue will be visible through your paper, and you don't want that. So there you go. We'll just finish it off with some of these gems, these in-color jewels that are in the 2021 to 2023 in colors. I'm just going to take this end off of my take your pick tool and put the original end back in. It has some kind of sticky putty in the end here, and it's great for lifting these jewels off the sheet. So we'll just put maybe one there and one here and one over there. So there you go. That was pretty quick, wasn't it? Once you've got your design figured out, you just have to get your ink and your stamps out. And hi Peggy, thanks for joining me. So there is a quick and easy birthday card created using the Artistically Inked stamp set and the dies. I've got the other die right here. Thanks so much for joining me. And I hope if there's anything that you want from that January to June mini catalog, don't forget to get on the store and purchase whatever it is you're wanting, before tomorrow night. Things will be retired at that time, and a lot of things, like I said, have already sold out, so don't miss out. Thanks again. Bye-bye.